Hi, everybody, and we are going to start off this evening with a one-shot for Bremar. This specific one is called The Ascension of the Wayfarers, where our adventurers have a little bit of a surprise coming in their direction. First up, I want to introduce Simon and let him kind of introduce himself and plug anything he wants to plug. Don't introduce your character yet, just say hello.
Hello. My name is Simon. I played with Chelsea a few times now. I mean, I'm also active on the OSG. Got a game coming up on over the Christmas days, like between Christmas and New Year's. I'm going to be Lich Queen's Beloved, but I'm going to post more information maybe in November later on.
Cool. Up next we have Lewis, my good friend Lewis, who I'm just meeting for the second time today.
That's exactly right. You invited yesterday to join in, which is amazing. So, yeah, thanks for having me. First time here, but I'm sure it'll be fun. I do like this already.
Yeah. And we have another player coming in a little bit. He's running a little bit late. But we also have my dear husband, as most of you are lovingly knowing him as Krunk. He's failing. He's failing at Mike.
Oh, aha! Oh, do it. Yes. Hi. Bye.
That's my husband. So, I don't want to waste too much time. Let's just jump right into it. It's been years at this point since the fall of the great city fortress of Mar. Her people have scattered to the wind, and to escape the wilds, some have turned to a place called the Crest of Gods. It's a towering cliff face stretching far into the sky, past the clouds, to a land no Marian has traveled in generations. You find yourself at its base, a guide staring up at the towering rock walls with apprehension. You're not the only ones here, though. There's actually a rather large group of refugees, and a few of the people from Stonehaven there to guide you up the crest. Altogether, there's about 13 refugees, not including yourself, and 3 wisps. If any of you are from Stonehaven, you pretty much already know what they are, but to the people of the lower lands, they're pretty much aliens. Your guide is wrapped in white furs, a heavy scarf. His boots are worn, caked with snow and dirt, but his eyes are kind, where his face is hardened by wintry winds. In this moment, you are still camped at the base. What are you doing, and what has brought you here to travel up the Crest of Gods and to more or less protect these refugees on the way up? Anybody can start.
Sol is the gentleman in the corner. Has an helmet, and at the moment also a violin, which he is playing rather well. He came up here because he wanted to get closer to the sun. Anything, just to reach up to its magnificence. He joined the caravan because it was a way to kill 2 birds with 1 stone, or in this case, save 2 birds with 1 violin. Up the mountain, sun, help refugees, all is good in the world.
Awesome. Simon, what's your character doing, and why is he here?
So Bob is probably trying to stay warm at the fire. He's a very big human, looks a little bit rough. Maybe he's got a little bit of others like orcish blood in him. You're not quite sure. He's warming himself on the fire because actually he's bare-chested and it's getting a little bit chilly already wherever he's staying. What brings him up to the Crest of the Gods is basically he's searching for anything that he can do to find a magic source, maybe, which could help the people on the ground and which he can then probably make to a little bit of money.
Awesome. Cody, what is your character here for? Because as I know it, you're not from the Lower Lands.
That is true. My character's name is Fiorad Seor, and I am originally from Stonehaven, and I've come to guide the refugees up to Stonehaven as safely as possible.
Cool. Luke, I know you came in a little bit late. You are at the bottom of the Crust of Gods. You know that there are refugees around you, as well as a couple Stonehaven guides to take you up the Crust of Gods. So what has brought your character here specifically, and what is he doing in this moment? Not sure if Luke can hear me. Oh, there he goes. Maybe not.
I think he's getting his mic ready.
Yeah. I'll give him a second.
Or maybe he's too mesmerized by my playing the violin.
I'll give him a second to get it organized. The guy that you had seen earlier, he's currently, like I said earlier, he's looking up at the face of this mountain. You would know at this point that he's taken this trip a couple times, taking refugees up and down, and he's rather worn. He seems to be almost apprehensive about making the trip again, as if something about this one is different than the others. Is there anything you guys are doing right now?
Something different, also. This is a little alien, so the location, right?
Say again?
You said he was doing it a little differently,
Yeah.
also.
Yeah, like with apprehension. He seems to have like a very hard look on his face as he's staring at this cliff wall.
Bob goes up to him and says, "Hey, shiny eyes. What you seeing up there?"
The man, the guide, he seems to kind of let his eyes cascade down the wall and then travel towards you, Bob. And his hand comes up and you can hear the scruff of his beard as he runs his fingers across it. It's like, well, I've got to be honest with you. And he kind of motions with his finger that was running across his beard. You see those clouds up there? You see how low they're hanging? It's not a good sign. It's not good for climbing, but I'm afraid the wilds are pushing in on our backs and we don't have a choice but to go up.
I think I can manage what's with those people. And he gestures behind him to the 13 non-adventurers.
He's like, yeah, those are the ones I'm worried about. Most of these people have never climbed a day in their life, and now their life depends on it. It's not that great of a situation, but we'll make do.
So Bob would look around. Is there a child under the refugees?
It doesn't look to be many children. These seem to be mostly adult, mid-adult humans and elves. There's 2 or 3 dwarves, and those are as close to child size as you get.
Okay. So Bob goes over to a dwarf and he says, "Hey, child, you wanna get up on my shoulders? I can take you up there."
The dwarf that you come to is actually a female dwarf, and she kind of spins around and she says, "Hey, who are you calling a child?" And she kind of spits at your feet and kind of huffs off a bit. She's got like pots and pans on a bag behind her, and you can hear them clanking as she walks by you. Luke, do you want to try your mic real quick?
All right, can you hear me?
You are
Yes.
working now, good sir.
Nice. Does
Okay,
that sometimes.
Yeah.
So Bob would just shrug and look and go back over to the fire.
So basically, Luke, were you able to hear everything I said?
Yep.
All right.
Michael.
So just a really quick why your character's here and what he's doing in this moment is everybody's kind of camped at the bottom of this this cliff face. It's kind of like just becoming daybreak. It's very cold. Everybody can see their breath. The fire is really low at the moment, and everybody's kind of getting ready to make the ascent.
As everyone's kind of sitting there, Caleb is essentially his name is Caleb. Is sitting around with everyone else, but you'd be able to very obviously see that while everyone's breath you can kind of see in the air, you can't see anything coming out from him. To the outside appearance, he looks very much like a construct, like a warforged. And that's as far as I'm going to say about that. But why is he here? He's not entirely sure himself. Essentially, he kind of goes where he's needed, or where people will need him. He has no real objective. So he's basically just here to help out in any way he can, regardless of what the objective might be.
All right, awesome. The guy comes up, and you can see him kind of come to a center of the camp, and he's getting people's attention. And he has this set of rope and these like metal clasping objects in his hand. And you'd know the night before he handed a set of these out to each of you and all of the refugees. People from above in Stonehaven already had their own sets coming down to begin with. But in essence, it's climbing gear. You'll have a harness in which you slip your legs into, rope, and carbiners. He stands in front of you, and he's demonstrating, in essence, how to use the systems. He's telling you how to use the climbing equipment, how to use stakes, and all... basically, in essence, everything that you need to know for a quick rundown of getting up the mountain. He then kind of hurdles the group of refugees, along with the 3 wisps that are there, towards the side where a long train of ropes is already set up, and he begins hooking people to them. You'll notice that he has positioned you 4 in almost strategic positions in between refugees. So... at the far right is Simon, and then a couple people down is Bob, and then a couple people down is Sol. After that, a couple more people pass, and you have Sayor, and a couple people more, and it's Caleb. At this point, he is ascending up the wall of the face, and he's kind of got his eyes down on the group, making sure everybody's getting their footing and getting started. Is there anything you guys are particularly struggling with, or does this seem to come as an ease to you? Is anybody feeling shaky on their feet?
Sol is not the most mountainous kind, but he is used to the art life, and he takes it somewhat well. He's actually carrying on his shoulder, despite everything that Yaz already carrying, including his armor and whatnot, a couple of bags from a few of the refugees that couldn't carry it themselves, and he's constantly giving words of encouragement, although the effect is somewhat questionable, as every time he speaks, you hear the muffled voice come through his heavy metal helmet. Do not worry, kind sir. Surely our noble guide will see us through.
You hear from above you, "Aye, see you through, I will." And he kind of is just kind of smirking down at you. You can see the rope kind of snapping below him in the wind as he ascends. Beside you all, you can see that while the majority of you seem pretty good at what you're doing, the refugees are quite slow. As you kind of begin your climb, you know this will be one of the most physically exhausting experiences of your life. Each level will be more sheer than the last, and as you continue on, the pace is slow. but steady. The guide is keeping everyone together for the most part, and it remains like this for some time. A few breaks are taken here and there, a few scares, as you suspend from your ropes. That is until everything seems to come to a sudden halt. Above you, the thick blanket of clouds hanging heavily next to the cliff that it was pointed out to you before is coming closer and closer. It's hanging so close that it hugs every nook and cranny of the rocks above you. The guide above you is calling out, "Doesn't look good. We're gonna lose each other in that." And
That's why we have the rope.
he nods, but you see this look on his face as if he knows something you don't.
He
And he
probably
says,
knows much that I don't know.
and he says, "The ropes will do us good, but if you can't see your hand in front of your face, you don't know if somebody needs your help. So just try to keep your ears peeled. You never know what's coming." Do any of you guys starting to ascend into this really thick fog bank do anything?
While the others are still thinking, Bob seems eager to get in there and starts climbing, picking up a little bit of a pace.
What's a little cloud to a night of the sun? Fear not. Surely my light will see us through. And he raises his hand and puts it on the top of his helmet, and suddenly his helmet shines brightly as he climbs. Just follow me, lead, and the lead of our brave guide.
Caleb would be, I suppose, near the bottom of the group. He's looking up at his fellow party members, and he's like, "There is a much easier way." As he plants his boots down and walks up the mountain, I have the spider climb slippers.
You will notice, Luke, that along with your rope system that was in your harness that you were kind of in, kind of suspended from you, is basically packs of supplies. So at any point, just remember you're carrying an extra weight with you, okay?
All right.
Cool. As you, Simon, lead the way through this cloud bank, you'll notice that there's almost this eerie silence and chilling cold clinging around your body. Even though you might be somewhat immune to the cold, it still seems to have a bite against your skin. This strange trickling of water begins to kind of cascade between your hands and your legs. It's coming like through the cracks of the ice and stone. There's this sudden faint yet very, very real presence in the distance. You begin to see this almost whoosh of darker gray moving in the cloud bank above you.
Is the guide on the same height with me?
You've because of the pace that you're moving at, you're past him. You are far past him by probably about 10 to 15, maybe even 20 feet, depending on how fast you were ascending.
Okay. Then I'll would wait and see, look down, and see where the bright head is at, and where the guide is. And when I start to see the guide, I assume I don't see him right now because of the fog or the clouds. I'm gonna ask him if he knows what the shadow is.
After a couple moments, he kind of catches up to you. You'll realize that you can't even see him until he's right up on you. He kind of glances into the fog for a moment, his eyes straining, and he says, "Well, I'm not sure what you're talking about. I'm not seeing what you're saying." And almost just as he's saying this, this bit of pitter-patter of rock, little pebbles skipping down the side of the cliff kind of comes down. It rains a little bit on you. It's nothing major. It's nothing harsh. And the guide kind of glances at it for a moment.
Can I hear if it is just locally where we are going up, or is it on the left and on the right as well?
You can make a perception check.
Okay. No, I don't hear it. 5.
Maybe you hear it too well. One of them goes into your eardrum or something.
In this kind of time gap that you and the guide are talking, Simon, the other three are starting to catch up to you. At this point, you three can make a perception check to even notice anything going on.
So that would be 25.
Okay. Luke and Cody, what are you guys' roles?
Mine will be 13.
Okay.
Getting the dice room to work. That would be 9.
All right. So at this moment, Luke, you and Cody aren't really noticing anything around you. But Soul, your keen eyes seem to lock on to this skittering movement. And perhaps the reason the others haven't noticed it is because it's coming from the far left. Your sight is telling you that it seems to be slowly descending towards you, whatever it is.
Big one! Noble guide, what would be that to our left?
The guide kind of...
Fog.
The guide kind of leans back in his harness, his eyes traveling to where you're pointing. He can't see as well as you do and doesn't see it, but he notices the ever-present danger of the Crest of Gods. He kind of pulls away from the harness, almost unstrapping himself from it slightly to where he's only dangling from one leg, and you can see with one hand he pulls out a sword. Well, it looks as though the terrors of the cliff are going to descend on us, but don't worry, these creatures are mostly just curious. They might not attack.
Arrows of the cliff?
You
Are they
know,
edible?
well, if you like that sort of thing, I suppose so.
I'm gonna get me a leg. Start. How steep is it?
You are like the rock face that you are on is completely sheer. You have a couple footholds here and there, but it's not a slope. I mean, you are on a sheer wall of ice and rock. At this moment, sorry, Soul can see the creature in the distance. It's sort of coming at a trickling pace down the mountain. Head can be kind of seen in the shadowing and cloud of the fog, but beyond that, it doesn't seem to be messing with you guys so far. And the guide has continued ascending slightly, but at a very slow pace.
Noble friends, no need to hide. Surely you do not wish asylum.
So while we continue to ascend, I'm gonna move a little bit towards it, so I'm in between the group and this thing.
Okay. At this point, a rather loud rumbling seems to kind of shake directly above you, Simon. not within 10 feet, ice begins to sort of protrude outward, pushing your ropes out from against the rock face, almost as if this horizontal wall of ice is coming out. You almost feel as if it's not a sheer accident, because at that exact moment, from around the side, this large face comes into view, and it's almost as if nothing you've seen before. It doesn't seem to be attacking you at this exact moment, but you see these long antlers of ice protruding from its rather oddly shaped skull. You'll notice that it's this large, expanding wall of ice creature, perhaps? You wouldn't really have words for it, but it seems to be able to walk on all four legs across the ice as if it was nothing.
Okay, so you said face. Obviously, if you say face, I think of a humanoid face with antlers, maybe. So is it more like you looking insectoid, or is it looking
That's good. That's
feral?
good. That's a fair question. It almost seems as if it's the face or the mug of a mix between a dog and a seal. Honestly, it's a very strange mix. Its icy skin is almost the texture of that of a seal. It's silky. It's very, very slippery and reflective and glossy.
Okay, and it just basically dug out of the side of the mountain, right?
Yeah. It is kind of peeking around this wall of ice at you. Its fingers kind of just gripping onto the ice as if it's weightless.
Okay, I would look him back into his face and ask, "Are you edible? You don't look edible to me." And as I start ascending, if it doesn't like bother me, like I'm not gonna climb like over it, like to the side and around it, right? But let's see what it does.
When you address it, you hear this clicking sound emanating from it, and it seems to pass you by, almost, Simon. It turns its attention down towards the refugees that are below you, and continues descending at this like slow creeping pace down towards them.
Okay, can I do something?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, I would just like go down a little bit to it, grab into my backpack, and pull out a piece of meat, pin it on my dagger, and put it in front of its face, basically.
Roll a dexterity check.
Dexterity check. Save or check?
Save. Sorry.
Okay.
Bob sharing his meat? I never thought I'd see the day.
17.
At this exact moment, your guide sees you from below, and you can see an instant reaction in his face as he sees the beast for the first time. And as you kind of jut this meat out in front of its face, it sees nothing but the blade. It kind of snarls its nose back and forth before turning, and you can see shards of ice flicking down the side of the mountain as it skates across the surface and faces you head on. It's not quite attacking at this moment. And what was your dexterity check?
17.
17. Your ropes from above seem to begin to rumble a little bit, and basically the rock wall that was above you dissipates completely, and it kind of drops you back onto the side of the mountain, but you kind of skitter across the surface dexteritily.
Okay, agile. Okay, so did I get this correct? It reacted to the sword of the guide, not my dagger? With the...
It reacted to your dagger.
To my dagger?
Yeah,
Okay.
in front of its face, yeah. All it sees is a dagger. Didn't care about the meat at all.
Okay, guess the only thing I'll do is just I stick the dagger into the with the meat on it, stick it into the ice, and then see what it does.
At this moment, Caleb, Soul, and Sayer, you're behind this creature, and you're seeing it pretty clearly at this point. It's turned facing Simon, and you hear this. Why are you here?
To be painfully honest, I'm not entirely sure myself.
Such noble endeavors. We are just climbing up this mountain. We're trying to get to the other side, as our noble guide surely would have told you had you asked him.
Simon, being the only one that can see its face, its eyes travel across the ice and glance towards the guide you know. Yes, I know your guide, but noble he is not.
Surely you jest. What has he done to offend you so?
The creature doesn't seem keen on answering your question, but instead begins to, at this blindingly fast pace, skate across the ice towards the guide. Its mouth is opening at this extreme degree that you wouldn't have at first thought possible, almost overly large, as if it could expand like that of a snake. The guide is, at the moment, trying to skitter back as well, dropping rapidly in its ropes. At this moment, Soul, Caleb, and Sayer, you guys need to make dexterity saving throws.
How far are we apart? Like, what's the distance between us?
The distance between you and the creature, or you and your...
No, and us. Like, how far up is Bob, and how far down is...
Bob is probably about 20 meters way ahead of you. He was kind of leading for the majority of the time, and then was kind of separated from you by the creature. From each other, you're about 5 meters across from each other. It's not a great distance. Some of you are closer than others.
Just get a feel for the distance.
Yeah.
I got a 14, which is the lowest.
At this moment, as it skitters towards your guide, Cody and Luke, you both pass, but Lewis, it seems to have gotten its foot stuck in your ropes and is yanking you across the surface of the ice at this moment. What do you do?
Oh, this isn't good. And... do I have anything to stop it? I will take one of my probably climbing gear or picks and just jam it into the ice and try to keep it from pulling me further.
Make a strength saving throw. Check. Do a check.
Check. Okay, strength. That would be 19.
Alright, 1 second. That is not going to be enough. So basically, as you dig this pick into the ice, it almost seems to yank it backwards for a second. But it turns, its eyes turning on you specifically, Soul, as its strange digits on its front arm seems to grab at the rope and yank it harder. You're now dangling from your rope in this creature's hand, and it's slowly pulling it towards pulling you towards itself.
No, don't need to be aggressive. We're all friends here. As he
What's the
tries
guy doing?
to see if he can wriggle himself free from this creature's grasp, at least on the rope.
You want to try to wriggle free?
Knock the rope out of its hand.
Okay. We'll get to that. What are the rest of you doing right now?
Sayora, seeing how pretty much the ice creature is pulling Soul towards him, Sayora's gonna whistle, calling pretty much giving the call for his companion to come in, and he's gonna try and sever the rope between Soul and Ice Demon Fiend Dog Wall Monster, whatever you want to call it, to try and at least get him free, and then hopefully Caleb or someone down the line will be able to catch him, or he'll be able to reconnect to the wall.
That's a good idea. What Bob starts is doing is tie a rope, like he has like some extra rope, onto an arrow and pulling out his longbow as best as he can, which obviously will be tricky to fire while climbing on a sheer wall, but that's my plan. Not a good plan.
Okay. Cody, your bird, it's specifically trying to cut at the rope. Can you have it make an intelligence check, actually?
Yeah. That's gonna be a 4.
Alright. And Simon, you're trying to shoot an arrow, correct? No?
Not entirely. Yes, that's my second thing I will do. I bind on the end. I'm trying to bind a rope to actually get something like an arrow with a rope attached to it.
Okay. Where are you aiming that rope?
Not just now. I'm just waiting for something for the what is Soul for race? Is he like a human?
Actually, you wouldn't know. It's a strange thing. You never saw him beneath the helmet. He never took it off.
Okay, are you big? Are you small?
It's pretty big. If he's humanoid, definitely in shape.
Okay.
But he's on the bigger side.
Okay, so basically I'm waiting if the rope... I want to ready an action, basically, if the rope gets cut, to shoot an arrow at him.
Okay.
Boy, surely this plan will work out.
So
okay.
you begin to wriggle out of the rope, and as you do so, the bird is between you and this ice fiend creature. It's cutting at the rope, and just as you seem to be gaining leverage, the rope snaps.
As he begins to fall down the cliff, probably see him disappear through the...
Simon, your arrow goes off. Go ahead.
Yes. Attack roll.
Are you trying to hit him specifically? Like,
I'm trying to hit him.
Okay, yeah, just go for an attack roll.
27 AC.
Yep, that was it.
8 damage, and you got a... Like, now you have an arrow with a rope attached to it. If that works, I mean...
Are you trying to hold on to that rope you just fired into him?
No, I forgot that. Yeah, no, I tried to do that. Like...
Alright, are you relying on your ropes to sustain you?
Somewhat. Also, I still have the dagger with the meat.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I shoot it, like, I try to not let my bow fall. One hand have the rope, which holds a soul, and one hand try to grab at the dagger, which I hope will hold me.
Okay. Roll a d4 for me real quick.
A d4?
Mm-hmm.
As
3
seconds.
You got a 3? Okay. Your rope, that is almost not quite completely holding you up, but holding some of your weight. You see just a couple strands of it pop loose. It's not giving up on you or any way, shape, or form, but it seems to be fraying slightly. You need to make a strength saving throw for me right now.
Okay, I'm good on those.
And Soul, if you can put your weight in the side chat, that would be lovely.
Doesn't
Sure.
matter. I rolled a 1. That's an 11.
But that's the thing. Before the rope reaches its limit, you see Soul, like the arrow is like in his eye or something. He just picks up the arrow and goes, "Ah, why you do this?" And pulls the arrow out. And then you see like a flash of light from beneath it, and he's kind of behind you, egging you. Why you do this?
So you teleported?
Yep.
Okay. Are you trying to cling to anything at this moment? Because you're still on a sheer wall of ice.
Yeah, the thing I'm clinging to is called Bob.
Alright, so you're clinging to Bob. While all of this is happening, the teleportation almost seems to draw this creature's attention. It was focused on you, pulling you towards it when you were attached to the rope, but now it's focused on you and Simon, and it is currently charging at you. Roll initiative.
Okay.
Everyone?
Everybody rolls initiative. We are in
Okay,
full combat.
that's... Apparently, despite being on someone's back, Soul's pretty fast. 24. There's the crit. We only see one creature at the moment, right?
You only see one creature at the moment, yes. Alright, sorry, I had to write you guys in order so I wouldn't forget. And... Alright. Alright, so Lewis, you've kind of teleported, and you're clinging to Bob at the moment. You see this creature barreling through the ice. It's almost splintering with each step. What do you do?
I just look at it and I go, "Please, kind sir, would you kindly go away?" You see his words reverberate through his metal helmet in this wind, and there's something strange about them. I think it's wisdom?
Okay.
Wisdom save is...
What's my
So,
DC?
suggests the creature take a hike elsewhere.
Do I have a DC?
Yep, 18, if I'm not mistaken. Yep.
And you tell it to go away?
Yep.
Alright. The creature seems to hesitate for a moment. It almost seems to be against its will, backing up slowly for a moment. But then its eyes kind of glance down towards the guide down below you again, and then it focuses specifically on you, Lewis, and does not go away.
What a shame. As Solaire kind of wriggles trying to get his blade out. But that will be turn.
Okay. Also, did you take the damage from the arrow earlier? I'm guessing Simon.
Right?
Okay.
It was 8?
I don't know. Did you take damage?
I think it was 8, right?
Okay.
Yes.
Cody, what are you doing? Currently, you are down below these two. This creature is above you, and you are kind of dangling from your ropes with Caleb at your side.
So I'm pretty much below everybody else, and the fight's happening up above me.
It's about to break out, it seems.
Well, I would like to. I guess I'm going to try and get it clear of everyone else, so I can get a clear shot as I knock my bow.
Okay, are you gonna fire?
With me getting to the left of everyone else where I can get clear shots, would that allow me to also make 2 attacks? Or would that use up one of my actions?
No, you can move.
Alright. Alright, well, upon moving on to the left of the group, Sarah's gonna pretty much knock his bow up and command his pet Haven to go and attack this beast while he's setting up an attack of his own with the bow as well.
Okay. Roll attack.
Let's see. I'll do his first. Let's see. It's going to be 11 for the companion for a hit. And
Companion misses.
alright, companion miss. And I'm going to use, on my attack, I'm going to use sharpshooter. 17 plus 11 minus 5.
That's a hit.
Alright, and damage roll will be 18. 19, 20, 22 damage.
Alright, so what does this all look like?
And like pretty much a singular move, as soon as Sayer jumps off to the left side, like as soon as his legs grab hold of to the sheer wall, he's immediately looking up, and then he just like lets one arrow loose, and as it goes, it will hit the ice monster in the back leg.
Alright. Cool. You kind of see it, its back knee buckle into the ice. It kind of grinds against it in this horrible sound. Simon, what are you doing with Soul on your back?
Okay, so I've got basically bear hugging Soul, Soul bear hugging me, kind of look a little bit confused, like, and then turn around to see this thing charge at us, or me, for all I'm concerned at least. After it gets hit by the arrow, I kind of wrap my arm around the string or the rope that is holding us both up at this point. And when it comes to me, is it still some way away from me, or is it like up closer?
At this moment, it's probably about 15 feet, not meters, feet away from you. It's currently kind of skidded to a stop with its back leg kind of grinding into the ice wall. You'll notice, again, that it can walk on the ice wall as if it was a flat surface of ground.
Okay. So what I want to do is, after I've wrapped my arm in around the rope, is basically push myself off from the wall and basically swing over it and try basically to Goomba stomp it into the wall.
Alright, can you make me an acrobatics check?
Acrobatics, sure.
I would also take, no, just acrobatics.
Okay. Okay. That's a 14.
A 14. Alright, hold on. And you're trying to basically curb stomp it?
Yeah, but I'm trying to get to it and step on it, basically, and then do something else.
Alright. In that case, you would be almost making a, like a unarmed attack at that point.
Sure.
So
Yeah.
go ahead and roll for that.
Okay. Well, I'm actually not proficient with unarmed attacks, because I'm not a monk.
Possible.
I'm not a monk. So that's strength modifier with unarmed, right?
I think so.
Yeah, that would be a 15 without my proficiency.
Okay. So you pass. You kick off this wall, and you're sailing through the air. The wind is past you. Soul, it's also going past you, unfortunately. You kind of rear yourself back, and you feel the weight of yourself, the momentum swinging back in towards this creature, your feet aimed towards it. But at the last moment, it almost seems to like turn on you, its teeth opening wide almost to catch your feet.
Yes!
And it's going to chomp down.
Yes!
So that's gonna. Oh, and it's a crit.
Cool.
It's a crit. All right. Hold on 2 seconds. Let me get my. I wasn't expecting this. So let me get my dice out.
So, by the way, Saul seems to be 250 pounds,
Mhm.
and I'm 267 pounds.
Okay.
250 pounds with gear.
Okay. So this is what's gonna happen.
Not as beast as you are.
Yeah, I don't have that as much gear as I said. I'm bare chested, but yeah.
Okay. So here's what happens. 2 seconds. Oh. Okay. So you are both going to take a total of
Just do this.
Yeah, you're both going to take a total of 30 damage, 15 of which is cold damage, 15 of which is piercing damage.
Okay. I don't take as much cold damage, right?
Yeah, you take, I believe you have some kind of resistance or something. However, with the complete and total combined weight of you all slamming into its mouth and head, even at this point, you find this crushing weight breaking teeth inside of its mouth as it closes around you. And it seems to almost like shake you loose as soon as it does. However, Simon, you need to roll another d4 for your rope.
Yep. 4.
Alright, nothing seems to happen. Your rope, as it spits you out, holds your weight as you drop kind of out. You're going to kind of fall about 5 feet below it.
Okay. Can I still do my? Can I still move up to it, or can I? Am I still able to?
You can move. Yeah.
Okay.
But your action
Then
is eaten.
Okay, then I would get up to it and use my second attack as a grapple.
Okay.
Which is basically contested strength versus strength or acrobatics, which one whatever you choose.
You can do strength, pure strength.
No, I mean you as a defensive
sorry.
attribute you can choose. Like I choose obviously athletics, and you can choose.
It's a natural
But
one.
I rolled another one, so.
So did I.
11.
So
That's 11. I'm 11.
Mine is actually going to be an 8 at the end of the day.
Okay, then I grapple it, and with the other hand, I just punch it in the face once more.
Okay. You still need to roll for hit for that punch, right? Yeah.
Yes.
Do that.
That's an 18.
That's just enough, yeah.
Okay. I roll like a punch is one damage. If I use my strength modifier, that's for you to decide.
Okay.
That would be
Good.
1 damage. If not, otherwise 6 damage.
Okay. 2 seconds.
And then I say, "Bad Snuffles."
What did you say?
Snuffles. I gave it a name.
This creature snarls at you with such ferocity and intensity that you could not imagine. This freezing cold breath shooting across you and Soul's face. But in all of this time, Caleb is down below you watching this all unfold. Caleb, what are you doing?
Caleb is essentially just standing on the side of the mountain watching his friends fight this ice beast, or at least these friends he's known for a short while. He's kind of confused as to what the thing is to begin with, and why we have to fight it, and what's going on. But thanks to Cody's vote, he will his hands will start to glow. And because help pick a place far from here, he's going to cast Banishment on the Ice Beast.
Okay.
And he's going to also use a 3 sorcery points to put heightened on it, so that when the creature makes its save, it has disadvantage.
Okay. You're gonna have to remind me about exactly what banishment does because I've never taken it myself. So
Alright.
what is it?
It is. I attempt to send one creature I can see within range to another plane of existence. The target must succeed on a charisma saving throw or be banished. So, charisma saving throw with disadvantage, and the DC is 18.
Cody, can you lean over for a second and let them know what that number is?
Oh my god.
Because I don't want you to think I'm like doing DM interference.
That is definitely a 20.
I just don't.
Can I do this?
He
Yeah.
passes.
Give me a second. Check. No, sorry.
Like you rolled twice? Two 20s?
I'm sorry. What?
He had
Disadvantage.
it. That's, yeah.
You would roll
I'm
twice.
sorry. I didn't hear the disadvantage. Let me do that again. All right.
Sorry.
Okay, that's gonna be total of. And on the second time, it's 13 plus 9, so that's a pass too.
Lots of charisma.
Yes.
No, I disagree.
So basically, you know this fails, but what is kind of happening as you're casting this spell and focusing in on this creature?
Would the DM like to want me to roll a d20?
For
Wild Magic Surge?
might I like you to? At this particular moment, no, but trust me, I'm doing this for your own good.
No fireball on yourself, please.
Oh.
So basically, it feels this magic kind of coursing through its body. It's got its broken fanged smile, and it turns kind of its attention towards you for a second, Caleb, and you hear this like almost incoherent like whispering. It almost seems evil in its very nature. Do any of you speak Primordial?
Can say Sol does.
Okay, cool. So you're not really sure what it's saying to you, Caleb, but for a moment you feel as if it's actually not talking to you and it's looking behind you at this exact moment, and that is going to bring us to its turn. It's grappled right now, right?
Yes.
Uh,
It can take an action to get free, otherwise it cannot move.
yeah, it's going to have to do that. So, does this happen, or do I have to roll something?
No, it's in the contest again.
Okay, cool.
Okay, like if I am capacitated, it ends.
Yeah.
Or right. I read the rules for you. A grappled creature can use its action to escape by making a strength or dex, athletics, or acrobatics check opposed by my strength athletics.
All right, cool.
So I rolled a 21.
All right. Do I add my modifiers?
Yes, athletics or acrobatics, which one you choose.
Okay. That's going to be a total of 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22.
What did you roll?
Yeah.
What was the natural roll?
If it's over 21, it's higher than.
Okay.
But
Mine's a
what
24.
was the natural roll?
Mine or his?
Yours.
17.
17. Sure. As he tries to wiggle free, Sol just turns to the creature and goes, "You cannot escape this mighty ball of grasp! No one can!" And he'll take a -3 to his total.
Puts us tied.
That
You
makes
can.
it still gets away.
Okay.
Does it? I think the situation doesn't change when you die.
No, it is like the same with armor class. Like if you hit
Is
the
it?
number, I think so. Yeah. Let me double read it, but I think it does. Opposed by your strength. Doesn't say. So it's a judgment call from the dungeon master. I don't know the rule for it, like an opposed ability checks.
Where's the contest?
Good time.
I'm just going to say that I'm pretty sure Simon's right. I've always seen it basically just been, if it's the same, it kind of breaks free. but that's going to eat its turn for this moment. But Simon, being so close, just as it kind of snaps its body out of your grasp, it seems to look you like square in the eyes. You kind of feel this overwhelming presence from it. Eats an action, but not its movement, correct?
No, it's an action. It cannot move though. If it's grappled, now it's free. It can move now.
Okay. And it actually, in almost a slow pace, begins to walk right past you down the cliff face.
Mm-hmm.
And that's going to bring us up to Soul's turn.
Is it still within a reach, within my grasp? Or is it walked off?
It is now below you by about 30 feet.
30 feet. That's a little further than what I can reach with my sword. Take me closer to them, Bob! I want to swing with them with my sword! And...
You could also try to detach from him, by the way. There are ropes hanging all along this cliff, just so you know.
There's also the thing. Huh. That's not a bad idea. I'll try to grasp one of the ropes as I go down and go, come back here, beast! And try to follow it, climbing down one of the ropes. One of the ones that looks most sturdy, hopefully.
Okay.
Don't want to mess up the person down.
Did you take any measures to try to attach it to your climbing gear before you did? Or are you just going down?
Well, he's going down all right.
Basically, I'm asking because if you did, you're fine. If not, I need you to just do a climbing.
No, I wouldn't, because Soul is brave like that.
Alright, so just as you're doing it, do a climbing.
Climbing is what, athletics? Or?
Yeah. Or you could strength. I would take strength or what is it? Athletics. Athletics, acrobatic, strength. Those are the three I'd take for that.
Okay. It's the same probably. So 26. It's not bad.
Oh, you are like with ease flying down this rope. Like it's just your natural habit.
Armor clinging all around, and can I reach it or
what's your movement speed?
30 feet normally, but this is climbing, so or in this case climbing down.
You're doing so well, you're gonna reach him, honestly.
And as you reach him, just sword in hand, he just raises his sword and he goes, "Feel the might of the sun!" and swings at it. As his sword, you see like begin to waver a little bit, as if it's distorted by it.
Okay.
Okay, that's not a bad roll. It's my modifier. It's 31.
How much?
31, I think. Yeah.
Well, that's definitely a hit.
Yeah, that's nearly a crit, pretty much.
Alright, what happened?
The sword slams into this creature hard. And as it slams into him, you hear a roar as if thunder struck, and there's actually a few rocks that come loose, and it must also make a strength save. It's going to be...
God damn it.
So 13, 5, 6, 7. It's gonna be a total of 18 damage, split between slashing and thunder, if it matters.
Okay. What's my save on the strength?
Same, 18.
Okay. It passes the save. What happens then?
It slams into it, and you can see like it nearly lose the grip on the wall.
Mm-hmm.
As it barely managed to hold on, as the thing throws rock and what is not just all flying off the edge of the cliff, on away from the wall.
Okay. How much damage did you say, by the way? Sorry.
17 split between thunder and slashing.
Okay. Both of which seem to make heavy purchase. Its grasp seeming to slip down as it almost falls a little bit farther down the cliff face. At this point, Caleb, it is almost right in your face as it falls down, and that's going to bring us to Sayer's turn.
I will use. I want to give my little bird buddy a shot again. He's gonna go and attack it, and I'm gonna loose another arrow at it. That's gonna be 20, 22,
Hit.
Alright. And I'm gonna be using the Bestial Fury with him where he attacks twice.
Okay.
16 plus 9 for the second hit.
Hit.
It's gonna be 10 for the first. And 8 for the second. So 18 total for the bird. And that'll be piercing damage.
Okay.
And my bow attack will be 15.
That's a miss.
Alright.
As this all unfolds and your bird unleashes these vicious attacks, as it unleashes these vicious attacks, it seems to be almost shaking the bird off a bit, trying to kind of crunch its shoulders together, to crunch its beak between its shoulder blades. Doesn't seem to catch it. All of this is happening literally directly in front of your face, Caleb, by the way. But right now we are on Bob's turn.
Okay, first of all, it's like 30 plus feet below me, basically, right?
Right now it would be 35 exactly.
35. Okay. Is it looking into my direction, or is it like preoccupied
It is facing completely away from you, down the mountain.
That's bad for it.
Yeah.
Okay, so I try to get directly above it.
Okay.
And I just I just start falling down to it, and like, "Roar!" And when I'm at it, I try to grab it. And
Okay.
bear hug it and see what happens.
Soul jumps out of the way. This big mess of a man comes crashing down.
Actually, Soul, you're gonna have to make a dexterity check to get out of the way of that immediately. That's the first thing we're gonna do.
Okay, dexterity check. Let's see, that's a...
I'm just gonna set it at like a 14 to pass it, just to get out of the way.
If it's a check, it's just an 11.
Sorry, it would be a save. You're right. It would be
a save.
It's a save.
It's 19 in that case.
Okay.
What-
You
what's better?
tell us how you just get out of the way of this falling mess that is Bob flying down the mountain.
So
Here
Soul
comes
is like,
Bob!
he just slammed into this, and he was getting ready to slam it again with his blade. As he looks down and he sees, "Here comes Bob!" His arm shining, and he goes like, "Oh, by the sun!" He just stabs his sword into the ice, and just uses it to jump, and jumps into another rope nearby as he comes crashing down.
Okay. Ouch. The creature below you, Soul, that Bob is flying towards is not so lucky. It doesn't even see him coming as he flies down and lands on the back of this creature, crushing down into the ice while its tail is waving rapidly behind it. What do you do once you land on this creature, Bob?
Okay, now I'm pissed. I'm gonna grab my big axe and just smash at its tail and trying to cut off its tail.
Oh, okay. Alright.
Do I get... Was the crushing falling down one attack, or do I still get all my attacks?
That's gonna be... what would that be? That would be something falling... what's fall damage, basically? It would take almost your fall damage.
It's 1d6 for each 10 of a feet, so 30...
Okay,
3d6
so you can...
damage.
Yeah, you can add 3d6 to your damage pool.
It's for each hit?
3d6.
Or one time,
once,
3d6?
Just
Okay.
one time.
Okay. And can I still get my attacks going with my axe?
Yep. That was technically your movement.
Okay. Let's. Okay. First of all, I'm gonna use my great weapon mastery to attack it.
Go ahead.
Yeah, attacking 3 times, and
Okay.
then I'll tell you the the damage of my 3d6. So 3d6 is 12. The first attack is AC 12. Probably miss.
That's a miss, yeah.
Second attack would be 18.
That's a hit.
And the third attack is 22. That's a hit as well,
That's
then,
a
right?
hit. Yep.
Okay. The second. Okay. So let me then tell you the damage, and then I'm narrating what's happening. Okay.
Sure.
The second attack is 27 damage, and the third attack is 26 damage on top of the 12.
So you have just done some devastating stuff, but he is not dead.
Okay. So I fall down. Here comes Bob, and grab onto it, barely like dangling on his back, grabbing my axe and just smashing 3 times at his tail, but just due to it like whipping around, I just hit like square into the ice once, and I'm still like dangling on its hide, or its icy hide.
Okay. Did you also see my side chat? You're also taking fall damage if you're gonna hit it with fall damage. Okay, just letting you know. Same damage you rolled for it.
Okay.
So the 12. So its chest almost seems to kind of collapse in at your initial impact. And you said you were whacking at its tail originally, right?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
where the tail basically goes to the torso or the back end of it.
Okay. So basically, in this moment with all that focus and rage kind of pouring out, the tail is almost only hanging on by a sliver. It almost seems to be kind of falling down alongside you, just kind of attached by a couple muscles still. And that is going to bring us to Caleb's turn. This has all happened right in front of you. There is this like crystal clear viscous liquid dripping down on your face from this thing's tail.
My only question will be, who is in a 60-foot cone in front of me?
Everybody but Cody.
I apologize to everybody but Cody.
No.
Hooray, Rangers!
I wish to cast Prismatic Spray,
Okay.
and I will spend 3 points again to heighten it, but only on one target creature. I'm going to pick the Ice Beast, so on the Ice Beast's saving throw, it's going to be a dex save, but it gets disadvantage. But everyone else, you roll a dex save normally.
Is Bob within 10 feet of me?
Sorry, what?
Is Bob within 10 feet of me? Or did I jump further away?
He dropped past you just a little bit. Just barely. I'm gonna say just barely.
Alright, just as this spell comes out, Bob just says, "Take cover, noble friend!" You'll gain a +5 to your save.
Okay, that would be 27 to save.
Okay.
It's a save versus what, sorry?
The DC is 18.
Versus what? What's the ability?
Dex.
Dex.
Okay. Creature has a 19, by the way.
21 as well.
Right. With its 2 rolls.
Yes, with its 2 rolls. It rolled a 20 and then a 19. I haven't even added the modifier.
Alright. Well, whoever succeeds takes half damage from their color, and then whoever fails, I don't think anyone did, will take full. But I got a roll for each person. So
Okay.
Creature first is 5.
5 damage?
Oh,
Do I have it?
no, nope, not 5 damage. 5
Oh.
specific. It gets hit by a blue ray, which is cold damage.
It's resistant to it.
All right, and it takes.
I'm sorry, I actually lied to you. It's immune to cold damage completely.
Oh, so it wouldn't take any damage at
Yeah,
all.
it's completely immune.
All right, so it essentially absorbs whatever I rolled out of 10d6.
Alright, cool. I'm sorry. Cold damage was unlucky.
So next it would be Lewis.
One Knight of the Sun. Fire, please.
You succeeded on yours, right?
Yep.
Let's see. Okay, then you basically get hit by like a purple ray, and then nothing happens because you succeeded. If you didn't, you'd be blinded, and then bad things would happen.
You cannot blind the Knight of the Sun.
And then Bob would be next because even though he saved, he still gets something, and that is a 3. Just so Bob knows, it will be lightning damage.
I don't think Bob's face is happy right now.
Lots of ones at least.
That'll be 30 lightning damage.
Alf?
Yeah, 30 is 15, right?
Yeah, because you passed.
Oh, yeah. Is that everybody?
Yeah, that's everybody.
What's with
all
the
the
refugees?
Yeah, they're all below. They're below,
Okay.
so don't worry about them. Party-wise, it was the creature, you, and Soul.
So essentially, as he was casting this out in front of him, he covered his eyes with his other hand, and as he peeks through, and you can see through his mask that there's no eye looking out through it. But essentially, he's like, "Ow, no."
The creature smiles directly in your face, Caleb, as this waft of cold air seems to blow at the loose chunks of ice, kind of pebbling off of its skin. It has this almost sickening smile with its broken teeth as it kind of begins to open its mouth slowly. Soul and Bob, how did your damage go for you guys, or whatever? You can roleplay what happened to you guys.
The light came up to Bob, and actually it seemed right in the face, except he has an helmet, and if there's one thing you know about the Soul, is probably that he has blue eyes that shine slightly strangely. And he's always talking about how much he loves the sun, and Polar, and whatnot. And the ray pretty much just glances off him, he kind of cocks his head a little bit to the side, wondering what was that about.
Alright. How does Bob take this?
I hate lightning.
So as Bob is kind of back there jittering, the creature, like I said, it had begun to open its mouth, Caleb, and its eyes focused on you. It's these black sockets, these pits in its skull, and then you see this flash of like bluish white light deep within the sockets. With a 17, 13, and 13 to hit, do any of those succeed?
Caleb
Caleb
all of
specific.
them.
All of them do?
All of them do.
Good.
Go
I
ahead.
should have said this before. Normally I need to do this before you tell me what the result is, so it's
Okay.
you need to tell me what the natural result,
Okay.
so I could try and do something. Can I do it now, or start from...
What are you trying to do?
I'm basically going to try and distract the creature from one of its attacks, see if I can cause it to miss. But I need to announce this before I know the result of the roll. So I need to know the roll.
I went so fast that it's okay. You can put that in at any point in time.
To one of those rolls, Saul just goes, "You call that an attack? You see, you can do better, surely." And he takes a -7.
Okay. All right. That'll hit kind of probably the second one, distracting it from the second one. So that would make that one a whatever a 13 minus 7 is. So is that? I'm guessing that's enough to not hit you, right, Caleb?
Yes.
All right. So 2 seconds. So this creature, its mouth opens and it kind of chomps down onto the side of your body, grasping you in its mouth and shaking slightly. From behind it, it hears Soul, and it kind of drops you for a moment, its tail flicking around to kind of whack you in its side, but it misses as it's kind of staring into Soul's helmet. It turns back, taking this giant breath as it kind of rears up off of the wall and kind of slams down with its front claws. For a total of 2 seconds. This is gonna be a bit of a lot, so hold on. For a total of 38 damage, half of which is cold damage.
Alrighty.
Okay. With that, we move to Lewis's turn.
Okay. You just see these creatures take a big bite out of or breath into poor Caleb, and he just he's a little too far to the creature, and he has learned his lesson that Bob will come crashing down later, so it's probably not a good idea to stand close to it. So he's just gonna sheath his sword.
Bob's still on it, by the way. I'm pretty sure Bob's still on its back as all this is happening.
Probably, yeah. But it's gonna be messy, so it's gonna be hard to swing my sword in that. So I'm just gonna sheath my sword, and he's gonna like tie his arm around it, and he's gonna pull what looks like a stick. It's a strange shape, and as he begins to speak through it, his voice comes a little louder as he goes, "There was a time when we were noble soldiers, fearless and wild, a fight just to survive. Reformed our troops, one flag, one world united, under the sun, the powers came alive." And as he points at Caleb, he'll regain 7 hit points.
That was beautiful.
And he keeps going on his solo. That will be it for now.
Absolutely beautiful. What is Sayer doing now that all this is kind of happening?
From where Sayer is right now, would you say his view of the enemy is pretty much where if he was to loose an arrow, it'd hit someone?
No. Hold on. You're right now. Sayor is kind of off to the left, just a bit behind Caleb. You kind of see Caleb's clothing kind of ripping and shredding slightly. Little bits of it falling down below him. Bob is on its back, but it's currently kind of reared up a bit after it was slashing down on Caleb.
Alright, in that case, I'm going to use my original attack and my extra attack. And for both of them, I'm going to also use Sharpshooter.
Can you do that twice?
It doesn't say I can't. I just have to do a -5 on my attack roll.
Okay.
Unless I'm wrong. Anyone want to...
No, you can do. You can do it in with every attack.
Okay. Cool beans. Alright. That'll be a 19 plus 6. 19, 20, 22, 34. That'd be a 25 on hit with the first one.
Which one are you taking the 5 out of?
The attack bonus.
Okay, cool. That's a hit.
And that'd be 11 plus 6 would be 17.
That is a miss.
Alright. At least got one.
Woohoo!
And that was a D8. So that'll be 18 for the first hit then.
Damage?
Yes, 18 damage. My bad.
Okay, cool. So, what happens here?
With Sayor's first use of his arrow, with his first attack, it finds sweet purchase in the, I guess you consider it the beast's upper right torso section.
Mhm.
And as far as his second attack, a gust of wind kicked up and pretty much just made his arrows like fly like the most untrue his arrows have ever, and just barely misses said creature.
Okay. It seems to like, and this like shrill, like it almost sounds like a dog whistle. That grating, irritating feeling in your ear as it shrieks. But that will bring us to Bob's turn.
Okay, so Bob's usual long flowing hair is right now looking into every direction, like protruding his head into every direction, and he tries to swing around the creature to be between his belly and the wall or the ice surface, and he grabs the tail of this thing that is just like on the last sinews attached to the main body of it, and just pushes away with his feet against the belly of the beast and tries to push it off of the mountain down to the valley below.
So you're just trying to flat push it off the wall?
Mhm.
Okay. Roll me a. I'm gonna do contested strength checks, not saves. Checks,
Okay.
because I have problems with saying the difference between the two.
Sorry to tell me what it rolls.
It rolls a 3, so I'm pretty sure it's gonna fall off the cliff.
I rolled a 13 without my modifiers.
Yeah,
I don't think you need my help.
That's any.
Yeah, I don't think you do because I'm only it's you're gonna easily pass me. So go ahead and tell me how you kind of fling this thing down the mountain. Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, so as I said, I grabbed at the last at the tail that it was barely attached to the body, and it just rips apart as I push my back into the wall, which actually the wall kind of gives in a little bit, so the cracks a little bit as this creature screechingly just rips loses its tail, and it's like it probably screeches a little bit in surprise and pain as everybody just loses sight of it as it just
Time out.
plummets through the.
Caleb is directly below. Caleb, make a dexterity saving throw to kind of repel yourself away. You can also do acrobatics or athletics.
I think unfortunately you're just too far away to be inspired by the noble presence that is Soul.
How goes it, Caleb? What fare ye?
Oh, can I use my Tides of Chaos ability?
What is that?
It lets me gain advantage on one attack roll, ability check, or saving throw.
Then yes, you can.
All right.
You only need to beat a 12, so.
Well, I don't on either one.
Oh, really? Okay. Roll a d4 for me as well.
Three.
Okay. Okay. This creature seems to like fall directly into your chest as you're kind of hanging from your ropes. You can see splintering pops of your rope giving way as this kind of force begins to drag you down. Right now, it's caught up on you, tangled in you and your ropes. I'm sorry, Simon. But it has no purchase at the moment. And we are immediately going to go to your turn, Caleb.
Did I at least get the tail?
The tail's gone flying. It went kind of like... Oh wait, you want to grab it? You can grab it. Whatever you want to do with it. You can
You
do
have a
with
tail
it.
file.
Just so you're clear about what's going on right now, Luke. It's kind of like stuck on you at the moment. You can do what you will now.
So it's thrashing around at me, I suppose.
Mhm.
I will be descriptive in this as best I can. As it catches me and I fall back slightly. I fall back. And it's thrashing around. It kind of a glancing blow, not enough to do damage, maybe, but just enough to hit my head a certain way. My mask that I wear that you see in that picture that comes off, and reveals to the party my face, which is technically everything inside of your faces right now. You see a skull. Exactly. You see a skull with no eyes, no flesh, anything. But now it's just going, oh my, oh no, 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 no.
By the sun, I had no idea you were so badly hurt. Hold on, friend.
I'm gonna give you a chance real quick to do basically a flat strength check to kind of toss this creature off of you.
Oh Lord.
I mean, I know you don't got much with you, but you get the chance. You get the chance. Because right now it has no purchase whatsoever. It is just flopping and flailing.
3.
No. Well, isn't that a shame?
Just so the DM knows, because I used my Tides of Chaos thing, at any point until I would take a long rest, you may make me roll on the Wild Magic Surge table if I cast a first level or higher spell.
Okay. In the sidebar when that comes up, just let me know, okay?
Alright.
You still have an action right now.
Yep. I'm gonna cast a spell on it.
Okay.
Is it in 2 halves or one? Is it still one whole thing?
Its tail's chopped off at the moment, and it's kind of just like, it's kind of like in your rope on top of you at the moment, but you have enough to kind of like lean back and do what you need to do.
Alright, and you said is it made of ice or is it just like a seal kind of thing?
You're not quite sure. You'd have to do further investigation to find that out.
Alright, guess I'm gonna go with a spell. Which means I'm gonna cast Enlarge/Reduce. I'm gonna cast Reduce on it.
Okay.
So, trying to find enlarge. There we go. Okay, so it has to make a con saving throw.
It rolls a natural 1.
Oh yeah.
With a basically it ends up being a 5, but it's a natural 1.
All right, so it does not succeed. Anything it is wearing or carrying also changes size. Any item dropped by it returns to normal size. Anyway, the target size is reduced in half in all dimensions, and its weight is reduced to 1/8 of its normal size.
Okay.
It goes down one size category. It now also has disadvantage on strength checks and strength saving throws.
Okay.
And its weapons also reduce damage as well.
So basically, kind of like as this happens, the shrieking that was turns into like this just squeaky little sound emitting from its throat.
Snuffles the puppy.
It's kind of like flailing its arms, slashing back and forth. It's wiggling and writhing, and at that exact moment when you shrink its size down, it frees it from the ropes, and begins to slip past you. Would you like to do anything before the end of your turn?
In character, nothing. Out of character, I would really like to roll on the Wild Magic table. But
Well, I don't want to immediately give it to you as soon as you do it.
Alrighty.
It begins to kind of slip past you a little bit. The creature begins to kind of put one foot on the wall, its body kind of flinging itself around. It kind of glares in the direction of the entire party now that it is below everyone, and begins to almost back up. And as it does so, it lets loose of the wall, its body kind of flinging around like a cat in the air as it falls downward, its entire body aimed specifically at the guide below. Each of you have a moment to react.
Can I ask a dungeon master how a cat without the tail falls?
Kind of wiggly.
Okay.
Can I shoot at it?
It would be more of a try to drop down reaction, because at this point it's rapidly falling below you.
I can still shoot down.
He's 30 meters below you. Oh, never mind. He can shoot up to 600 feet. My bad.
Longbows.
It's probably hard to see through the. There's still fog around, right? We're still in the clouds.
Yeah. It's kind of at the moment. It's falling at such a pace that it's like leaving this whoosh of the fog around it. You can kind of see it, but you know at any moment, as it starts to get lower towards where the guide is, it's going to disappear beneath the fog, and I'm giving you all kind of a chance to react. At this moment, we're exiting initiative.
Can I just jump after it?
Yeah, you can absolutely.
I would like the where to go? I like the Hunter's Market, and then cast Lightning Arrow and shoot it.
Okay.
Which I'm gonna do my attack roll because it counts as it activates pretty much whenever I attack.
Yeah.
Okay. That'll be 24 to hit.
That's it.
Let's see. I get the 1d6 from. Well, I'll do my damage first for the actual bow. That'll be 2d6 for Hunter's Mark. 5, and then I get 4d8s.
Kill it.
Gotta make sure it's dead, you know. Don't want it to grow heads or something like that and come back. Alright, let's do that. 10, 12, 13, 14, 15, 20, 22 damage. And it all turns into lightning damage.
Okay. So basically, this blue arc of this arrow kind of flies through the air. You all see it disappear into the cloud bank below. You feel this crackling of energy emitting beneath you. You can see sparks of it flashing out and kind of lighting up the refugees below. You see the body of the creature land directly on your guide. With that, a few moments pass. There's screams as this creature falls, obviously from the refugees below. You see the wisps who were way far down below the rest of the group, in case of anyone falling, have just kind of caught up to the rest of you. They come up through the refugees, helping some, and the guide closes in on you. Do you have anything to do right this moment?
Soul will climb over their own and go back to Don't worry, my friend, I'll get your face all sorted out. And 4, 5, 6, 7. You gain another 7.
Alright, his face doesn't change at all.
Wait, I can do it. I'll help you. You want to gain another 6. And finally another 9.
By the way, Caleb, you have time to try to cover your face before the rest of these guys get up there.
Nah, he's gonna leave his helmet off.
Okay, I'm just letting you know. You have time. You're not forced into this scenario.
So he kept healing me every time?
Yep.
So the
You
first
got the
time,
numbers, or
first time was 7, and then what was the other two?
6 and 9.
6 and 9, 15. So yeah, he still looks exactly the same. He just
What? Something my son cannot do? Cannot be! Bob, get over here! Let me see if I can do it on you! And he continues singing to you. An inspiring song about the sun and something about the sound of our cause, the meaning of life. Well, him. 3.
I think I want to jump down now.
You gain 8. And then 7.
Yeah, I still look pretty hurt.
Then 6, 7, 8, 9. Another 9.
Okay, let's see. 7, 8, and 9.
Mm.
Yeah, I'm getting there.
So,
Still missing 20,
Simon, how much health are you missing?
I was missing 56 health.
You're still, or you was?
I was.
So you're back at full health?
No, I'm still missing 21.
Okay.
That's basically your lightning damage I took, more or less. Nah, it was 15, but...
Then you see the magic begin to evaporate. There's no more free healings.
I'm going to see about casting Cure Wounds on as a second level spell. Let's see, I gotta use that.
I would just go up to the construct and say, the next time you fry me, I produce some rubble. Quite a zap in there.
You heal 20.
Thanks.
Welcome.
Does Caleb have anything to say back?
he's gonna do something back. He is going to actually cast a spell.
Oh no! Stop! Stop!
He's gonna cast Alter Self, just to give himself eyes.
Okay.
So now he's a skull with these big, piercing, lidless eyeballs looking at you.
Because that's not creepy.
Say much better, my friends.
As you guys are all kind of having your little heal party, the guide has clambered up the wall. You can see that his ropes are a little worse for wear as he does so, but he eventually kind of pulls out this separate harness and kind of like shakes it in Soul's direction. And he's like, "You might be needing this because I don't think you can make the rest of the journey on just your bare strength. Trust me, you're gonna want to take some breaks."
Why, thank you. Such a noble soul. Sorely that creature was mistaken when it called you a noble. What treacherous foul beast.
Well,
It was the strangest thing. A random eagle came by and cut the rope. Just my luck.
he kind of hangs his head for a bit and he says, I've got to admit something to you quickly. I didn't think it would be a problem. I didn't think he'd really notice me. But I've had run-ins with that creature before, and it's one of those stories where, honestly, he wanted passage. He wanted payment of passage for all of us going by. He sees me taking refugees up and down the mountain, and we had a run-in before, and I told him the next time I brought anyone up, that I'd give him one. And I just didn't think that was the best idea.
So Bob would look at him and says, well, looks like you're not gonna run into him, and ceremoniously gives him the tail of this thing.
He kind of like holds it in his hands, almost like icky.
And Bob just nods like, that's right.
As not to be rude, he kind of shoves it in the bag where he got the spare harness from. Soul, are you hooking yourself back up to the rope network?
Yep.
Okay, cool. You kind of get this reprieve as you kind of climb up, and not far above you, above where all this kind of took place, is this flat platform of ice. The cleft of gods kind of falls silent for a moment as you reach this precipice and clamber over the edge. You see what looks to be a really well-used, yet at the moment unabandoned camp. There's several layers of snow and ice covering leather tents in the stone pit just in the center. It seems to have been left alone for some time, most likely since the last time he had brought a group up. The refugees are coming over the edge, and they're murmuring still about the beast in the fog, and they seem almost restless at the moment. The guide announces that you'll rest here for the rest of the night. So you all kind of have the night to talk amongst yourselves and decide who and if you will be taking watch at any point in time.
I'll take first watch, noble friends. Worry not, nothing escapes. Night of the sun, wrathful night. I'll watch you closely. Not as closely as watch my son. That's Bob in a nutshell.
Is anybody else doing anything throughout the night? It seems to be a very long and cold night.
Let's see. Do we have anything?
As I don't need to sleep or eat or breathe, essentially, Caleb is just gonna walk around the camp, trying to talk to everyone.
From the refugees, you're going to be met with almost just pure fear. They're kind of huddling away from you, and yet notice you as the same person from before. They don't really quite seem to know what to do with you. However, if you make any attempt to talk to the wisps, they will all outshun you.
About a minute into me talking to like the refugees, just add that little bit of thing as to why they might be even more afraid of me, is that my eyes will probably disappear from my health or self wearing out.
This happens mid-conversation with the same female dwarf that Bob had offered to carry up. She kind of just stares at you for a second. She goes, "Oh, by the gods, this is truly a terrible night."
He'll gently pat her on the shoulder and say, "Don't worry, it's just the drugs," and walk away.
She seems to kind of mumble to herself, "Oh, yes." Huh. What is Sayur doing?
After checking through Sayor's quiver and all, adding up like pretty much how many arrows he's shot and stuff, he calls Haven down, come perches on his shoulder, and he walks over to the group of wisps and makes sure they're all okay, checking up on them, shooting the shit, talking to them. Then he goes over with the refugees and is pretty much making sure they're all okay. None of them got like any side harm, damage, or anything like that. And then he pretty much. Well, there's already a fire, is there not?
There was a stone pit.
There's a stone pit. Oh, I'm gonna go over and build a fire.
Okay. While you make this fire, you specifically say are greeted by the wisps very kindly. They come next to you and sit by the fire, and when it seems as though most everyone is quieted down for the night and kind of fell asleep, they kind of lean in and whisper to you specifically. I wouldn't expect everything to be quite peachy keen at the top of the the top. You know what I'm saying? Things have been getting quite tense in Edgewoodville, and to be quite honest, I don't think it's going to go quite well. Um, there's been some talk of Lord Vash, the Lord there, and the last I heard when we came down was that he was looking to raid the next incoming group of refugees to take them to the scales.
I'm hearing that Sayor's gonna look them all pretty much separately in their eyes, and he's gonna look down into the fire. And he's like, "Well, I'm not gonna let Lord Vash and pretty much judge these people that need our help. We are pretty much the only ones that could help them."
One of the wisps, you can't really quite tell if it's a female or not, even when it speaks. It kind of leans down onto its knees with its forearms, these long, elegant limbs, finding purchase there. He kind of takes a moment, nods at your words, and says, I've got to be honest with you, brother. If it comes down to it, I'm just walking away. It's not worth my life here. These humans and dwarves and elves, we all know they're not good for nothing. If they live, they live. If they die, they die. I've not really much care for it. As Bob snores in the background.
Oh, that just cracked me up, man. I was not expecting that. Well, in response to hearing that, Sayor's gonna look that particular wisp in the eyes and said, "You do what you want, but I told these people I will help protect them and I will see it through. And I know these other adventurers here with me as well will do anything to protect them as well. This is a good group. They're not worthy. They're like not good for nothing or anything like that. They have merit, pretty much."
You say they have your back, but can you really say that about this lot? You don't know them. They're not one of yours. They're not from our homeland. We call them the Lowlanders for a reason, because they're lowly. And then all three of them kind of rise up at once and go to a single tent by themselves for the night. Morning comes, not that you could all quite really tell, because the light never really changes. It's really dark where you are at the moment, deep within the cloud banks. And everyone in the morning is kind of, again, doing the same thing that they did the previous morning, kind of pulling together their their gear. The night was uneventful. There was no creatures or bumps in the night come to terrify you. Bob seemed to have slept really, really well and snored the entire night. Some think that that's what kept Caleb up all night.
And for those who are still asleep, they would wake up by a very bellowing "No!"
And what is this? No! Exactly.
You hear a clang as someone's in the corner, like it's his helmet in something.
And I would, the first one who get up to me, I would just grab him by the shoulders and basically look very intently into his eyes and say, "I forgot my meat down there."
Yeah, the dwarven woman that you had offered to carry and thought was a child at the bottom has this full jar of meat in her hand, and right in front of you she downs the entire thing and smirks in your direction. And she kind of mutters under her breath as she passes by, "That's for thinking I'm a child, you little shit." Do you guys do anything else before you put your gear on and start up the mountain again? Alright.
Here, noble friend, have some of this to eat. Bread, as the true food of the sun.
You give it to me?
Yep.
I would just throw it down throw it down the mountain.
Okay, maybe you don't like bread. Perhaps you're feeling ill. Surely such a thing cannot be.
Perhaps you want to tell me something about the sun?
Why, of course, it's our glorious Father, the signs ever above. And he goes on a huge tirade until you become deaf after a certain, probably
The
the first.
guide is leaving you at this point, so he is a good couple meters up the mountain or the cliff face already. The rest of your ascent seems to go without much issue. There's no more beasts to haunt you or try to cut your ropes. There is little to no problem. You guys have taken a couple breaks here and there for the refugees, but for the most part, at the end of what is a couple hours, you did it. You reached the top of the Crest of Gods. You have all made a climb that so few have done before. For some, like Sayer, it's returning home. But to others, specifically you, Bob, and Soul, as well as the refugees, it is like stepping into an alien world. There are blooms of vegetation unlike any beheld before, but there is little time to take in these new surroundings, because just as you all come across the precipice of this cliff and take foot on solid ground, in the distance you hear this of like clumps of footfall, thundering footfall, coming at you at this alarming rate. You can see not too far into the distance a guard tower shooting up out of the ground, surrounded by a large wooden wall. It's quite honestly like the sun coming over the mountains as a line of creatures swarms over the hillside, not a few hundred meters ahead of you all. They begin to circle the group with weapons at the ready. A wisp on the back of an einhorn on the back of a strange beast breaks free from the line. He's wearing this red and gold armor, and Sayor and Caleb, you would both know his face. He is known as the Lord of Archer Crest. He is the law of the land here. He stops but a short distance out and begins to kind of pace back on his mount. It's this strange beast that looks to be a mix of a horse and almost an owl, pacing back and forth, pawing the ground. It's snorting in basically your direction as it stops. And before you even all have quite too many moments to react, he shouts out across, the sound echoing in your ears with the kind of enclosed valley walls that you're now standing in. And he says, "You will release these trespassing lowlanders to me instantly, to be executed." And for those of you who have never made the journey up the Crest of Gods before, you would only know that he is an einhorn and the law of Stonehaven. The wisps that accompanied you thus far seem to murmur between themselves and back into the distance of the group, their eyes kind of glancing from the large group behind this Lord Vash to the small number of people currently with you. What do you do?
Saul would look a little confused, like shaking his helmet aside and then kind of step forward. I don't believe we have met, noble lord. I am Saul. What crime are we accused of?
He sort of slings himself down off the side of the beast, slapping it on its rear as it trots away, and he walks up to the group who is in the front. Where exactly are all of you positioned? Did you all kind of stand together in the front, or are you dispersed throughout the group?
I'm slowly kind of going back into the group behind the dwarf who drank the meat in front of me. I'm gonna get ready to push her in front.
What the fuck?
Caleb is going to be right at the front.
Okay. Vash stares down at you, Soul. His eyes like fire. Almost this charcoal and red ember, kind of peering through to you. Hold on 2 seconds. Sorry, I had to burp. I know, I'm so ladylike. And he says, actually, real quick, what race are you?
He's wearing a bucket helmet that covers his entire face, so you can only see his eyes, which are blue.
Okay. In that case, he says to you, take off your helmet. I don't know if I'm talking to a proper being or not.
Proper being?
A proper being, and if you're from around these parts, you'd know what I'm saying.
I'm a Knight of the Sun. This is my attire. It's like my second skin. Surely you will not part such an old man from his walking stick. You will not part me from...
I would part an old
the
man
attire.
from his walking stick, so take off your helmet.
I made a vow not to. Please, not take this to unpleasant territory. I'm sure everything can be worked out peacefully.
He kind of takes a moment and stammers, almost in aghast of what you just said. Do you not know where you... He pauses again and kind of swallows, this rage kind of overtaking his face. Do you hail from Stonehaven, Soul? Or from below?
I am from below.
Oh, yeah, you are from below. You kind of feel this intense intimidation radiating from this man, as if he has all the confidence in the world. He kind of looks behind him and catches his words as he's beginning to talk to you.
At this point, I push the dwarf in front.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
At this point, seeing Bob push the dwarf in front of him, Sailor's gonna pretty much just pull his hood down, exposing his ears, and pretty much jump over the group in front and pretty much confront Vash. Cause you shouldn't push a lady.
Vash sees all this unfolding, sees the dwarf pushed in front of him, and almost smirks at Bob, and begins to say, well, at least some of you've got some brains and want to live through this. And then this pushing lands in front of him, and his eyes narrow slightly, but it doesn't seem to be with hate, just preparation. And he kind of crosses his arms and leans back into his step, and he kind of just waits, staring at Sasayor to see what he might do or say.
Upon landing in front of Lord Vash, Sayor's gonna look dead in his eyes and say, "These refugees are not for you to take and judge them. They have done nothing wrong to you. You might think you are the king of the land and stuff like that, but you have no right to judge these innocent people. They have done no wrongs, nothing."
He kind of smiles when you say think, and he says, think, I'm the king of the land. I am the lord of the land here. Have you not been here? And he clears his throat because it's convenient. And your guide from before, steps forward beside you, Sayor. His large fur hood falling back, revealing these golden white tresses and this short stub of a horn protruding from the crown of his head. It's something you had not seen before at the base of the cleft the day before. And Vash seems to take notice, his eyes lighting with recognition. The guide says, "Are you telling me, Vash of Ironhorn, that you wish to try these beings, without taking them to the scales? What per se are you charging them with? It almost sounds as if you've become too human in your actions." At those words, the men that were standing behind Vash seem to be kind of watching on with curiosity, but their weapons have fallen to linger at their side uselessly, and they seem to be remaining detached from the ongoing confrontation. But between Sayor's and the guide's words, he kind of just rears back, his voice becoming this crackling noise as it hisses before the word "abominations" kind of just hisses out. He's staring behind you, Sayor, towards the humans and the dwarves that were in the refugee group. You'll notice the wisps that were with you have completely vanished, and the refugees, for the most part, are standing there in pure fear.
The guardsmen, they stepped back and, they lowered their weapons, right?
The people that had rode up with him seem to be witnesses. They don't seem to be interested in joining the fight right now.
Yes. So is this judges or not judges, but
the Einhorn, you would know, just throughout word and legend, are basically the law in Stonehaven. They are kind of broken up into segmented groups, with one being a lord over certain territories. They are, in essence, judges, and are supposed to follow a system in which taking anybody they are charging with something to something called the scales, which is basically court.
Okay.
It seems as though this Einhorn in front of you, this lord, is trying to skip the scales altogether and just execute the humans and dwarves behind you on the spot.
I would think an Einhorn would follow the laws more closely. I've heard great legends. Surely I was not mistaken.
Yeah, what he said.
All of you together, along with the Einhorn guide that is with you, seem to be almost... You see this, almost instant reaction in him of almost a beast being trapped in a corner.
Okay, anticipating him to make a mistake, I'm gonna crack my knuckles and just be ready.
I lean over to our guys, Einhorn. I go, "What are we accused of again?"
You lean over to the guide, you said?
Yep.
And said what?
What are we accused of again?
And he kind of leans into you for a moment, and he says, "Quite frankly, he just wants to kill them, but he's trying to charge them with trespassing."
What a vile thing to do. And then I stop whispering, get back upright.
At this point, anyone trying to convince this to end peacefully can make a persuasion check.
Let's do this.
Which all of you seem to be doing, so you can all make a persuasion check with your words that you've been using.
27.
Holy
51.
I get 12.
Was that a 31 you said earlier, by the way?
21.
Okay, and
No, I actually rolled bad.
what? And Caleb, what was your roll again?
27.
All right, Caleb, what would you say to this man to completely just almost embarrass him and make him turn tail in his spot right now?
Hmm.
You can use all the knowledge that you've gained so far to kind of just turn him in place.
Because they're very, very lawful creatures.
Mm-hmm. You're also from Stonehaven, correct, Caleb?
Yeah.
Yeah. You can use that to your advantage as well.
He's going to look at him and say,
Nothing. He just stares at him. Sorry. Go ahead.
Stare him down into submission.
kind of, yeah, he looks into his eyes, kind of persuading him by the fact that he does not have eyes, so that he's basically looking into an empty cavity of his soul, and being like, his voice gets all whispery and haunting and very kind of mystical. It says, I was alive once, and then I died, and then I came back, and my people were free, but I am not free. Essentially, what I am trying to say to you is, it would be best if you left us alone.
As he kind of like looks into the pits of your skull, you see his kind of, you see this unnervingness kind of come over him. It's less of an animal stuck in a corner and just more of somebody just intensely creeped out by you. Nonetheless, he kind of backs up to his beast and throws a leg over, his body coming forward on top of the mount, and he kind of whips it around till the side of it faces you. He turns his head and looks down, and he's kind of not talking to you, but to the humans and the dwarves behind you, and he says, "Don't you think you've been getting away with anything now? You'll be taken to the scales, whether it's here in Ultracrest or in the next town. Just because I don't feel like sullying my hands with these whatever they are." And he kind of scoffs to himself. "Doesn't mean you'll get through these lands free, ho. Get out of my territory." He kind of leans forward on his mount and stares down to the guide that's been with you this whole time, and he kind of whispers to him, and anybody close, within probably about 10 feet, would hear him say, "As far as you go, you disgust me. Turning against your own race for these filthy, disgusting creatures." And with that, he slams down on the range. They hit against the back of the creature. This kind of comes from the creature's mouth, and it turns tail and runs. The witnesses that stand there begin to start to disperse and kind of shake their heads, almost disappointed at the lack of bloodshed that just happened, and begin to walk back towards Etchercrest. At this moment, you have foregone confrontation successfully. And have a few moments to kind of decide what your next move will be and actually wrap up the game.
Saul would
How
buff out.
about lunch?
Saul would just buff out his chest as you go, and puts his hand like tapping on Caleb's shoulder, and every time he taps, he kind of goes down a few inches as it's a heavy tap, and he goes, "Good one, my friend, good one. But you shouldn't lie."
I'm sorry, who was that to?
Did I get the name wrong? Wasn't it Caleb, the one that spoke to him?
Sorry, I didn't.
He'll turn and look at someone and be like, lie? How did I lie?
I almost couldn't tell that you were lying. You're good.
What did I lie about?
You are really good. Okay, I'll give it to you. Yes. I almost believed that you were dead. Once.
I am dead.
Do you believe this guy? Point to him, putting my hand over his shoulder.
The Einhorn guide finally turns back to you four. Hopefully Bob has come up to be social. And kind of crosses his arms over his chest. And he says, I haven't quite been honest with all of you from the get. I am an Einhorn. I broke off my horn so that the refugees wouldn't be scared. You know, they quite honestly, and you can see why, don't think us Einhorn can be decent creatures. But to be quite honest, some of us do follow the law. And I was basically outcast for not wanting to follow the law that way.
My friend, fear not. I am a knight of the sun. My face is steel. It's speak bigger than words. I knew you were hiding, but I also knew from the get-go you were a noble soul. You are
I
among
disagree.
friends here.
I want my tail back.
He kind of just tosses the tail at you, glad to be done with it, but nods thankfully to Soul for recognizing that he does indeed have like a noble soul in him. For the moment, the refugees are free. They're not being taken away in chains, nor are they being slaughtered in front of you, as they were supposed to be. What is Sayor actually doing in this moment?
At this moment, Sayor is going to be pretty much crouching next to the guide and like pretty much discussing what will happen, like whether or not we'll have to continue on to the next city and hope for the best. Pretty much discussing the next events that we'll have to go through to ensure the safety of the immigrants and refugees and stuff like that coming up. Make sure that they can be safely and they won't pretty much get unjustly judged in the future.
The guide kind of hunkers down with you, drawing symbols and almost a map. Excuse me. In the dirt. He's basically discussing plans for what would almost be an underground system, not technically, not literally, but an underground system of safe houses to take these humans and dwarves to until they get all the way across the land to the farther back reaches of basically your homelands, Solar, where the Pushins and the Wisps roam and control the area. Until then, you will be strictly going through Einhorn territory. And there are many challenges ahead of you, because Vash is not the only lord who wishes to completely annihilate all humans and dwarves and elves.
And gnomes.
Well, they already took out all the half-elves. Or, sorry, not the half-elves, the halflings. Halflings are extinct in Stonehaven. Is there anything else anybody else wants to do before I close out the game?
Such a vile thing to do.
Caleb will look into his stuff and pull out one of his old masks that's kind of rusty and not all that well, and he'll put it back over his face. And he'll approach the people who were guiding us here. The bigwigs.
Say again? I'm sorry. Are you trying to push the guide or the wisps? Because the wisps are gone. They beat out as soon as Vash showed up.
The guide.
Yeah, okay. Go up to the guide.
And he'll approach him and be like, so you are an Einhorn,
That indeed, that I am.
and you are hated because you are an Einhorn?
I'm not hated because I'm an Einhorn. I'm hated because I don't think like an Einhorn.
Then Caleb will put his hand out for a handshake, and be like, well, I'm a skeleton man, and I don't think like a skeleton would. So we are very similar.
He kind of takes a moment, but then nods and is like, yeah, that I suppose we are. In that way, similar. Would you, he kind of almost stops himself for a minute, but then continues on and says, you're more than welcome to continue on with us if you've got nothing better to do.
Caleb will look at him and be like, why, of course, sure, I would love to.
With that, afternoon light begins to kind of begin to pour over the tops of these rather short-stacked mountains in the distance. It had taken until afternoon for the light to appear where you are right now. I believe Sayor and at least Caleb, I'm not sure about Soul, agree to continue on with the Einhorn guide. However, before the camera comes to a complete close, it begins to open back up on the figure of Bob, and from behind him, all you see is this stoutly little dwarf woman, her face in a puff of red, and she just nails him in the back of the head before walking away. End.
Bonk.
So
Listen over
in
the mountains. Certainly a sign that we are on the right track. His great sign, his great mantle falls equally upon us all. Einhorn, skeleton man. Points back. Whatever you are, dwarfs, we're all the same. We're all friends here in this land. Let us see the way forward. For as this one stands, none shall fall.
What is this, Wizard of Oz?
Exactly.
It's beautiful. It's beautiful. Alright guys, so that didn't go as expected. You guys completely forgo my boss fight. That was sheer accident. But cool. Awesome. So I'm not gonna do what I usually do and have everybody kind of go down the line and plug stuff because we've already kind of established that we already did that. We did that in the beginning. There's no need. So for those who are watching, thank you for watching. For those who watch in the future, thank you for watching. And this has been a Bremar one-shot that kind of went off in a completely different direction than I expected. And thank you. Bye-bye.